Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Bloop and the Blast podcast. My name is Big Sexy. I am the Bloop. His name is Luke Hughes. He is the Blast. And our special guest today, tonight, whenever you're listening to the podcast, it's Todd Van Steensel. Todd, TVS. How you going, mate?
Yeah, not too bad. No real complaints over here.
Love that.
Are you in Adelaide at the moment?
Yeah, I'm in Adelaide. I'm basically full-time in Adelaide now.
Awesome.
How's that change gone for you? I mean, I know you've been there for a few years and we'll get into that a little bit, but how's life just in Adelaide?
Oh, I love it. I got really lucky with a really good host family, and an opportunity came up to come down to Adelaide in, I think it was June, to help with the high performance programs, and my host family were happy to take me in, so I've pretty much been here since June.
Mate, that's awesome that you got that. Who hooked you up with the host family, mate? Where'd that come from? Was it one of Davo's special friends, or?
No, it was actually so I was going to play club ball with Woodville through Josh Toll's going to come play club ball with them, and I was originally only going to be here for 2 weeks. The club looked out, hey, is there anyone that can house a player for 2 weeks before the Giants season begins? So this family put me up, and then after 2 weeks, they're like, well, would you like to stay a little bit longer? And I was like, yeah, I'd love to. And that was back in 2022. And this has been my home in Adelaide ever since.
Yeah, that's all right. So, and obviously, like, you were talking, Hughesy sort of touched on it just then. Like, you were a Sydney guy, right? And then you made the switch down to Adelaide. Can we wind the clock back a few years? And Davo sort of touched on it in his episode with us. And obviously, you know, you coming to Adelaide, it was a bit of a breath of fresh air. But can we wind the clock back to that sort of decision, that process, and then, of course, what it was? I mean, we know sort of what's happened since you've been there, but what that first initial look at, oh, hell, I'm a Giant now. What was that like?
Like David said, it was a bit of a breath of fresh air for me.
So, hey, Hughesy butchers everything, mate. Don't worry about it. It's all good, mate.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I was around like a younger group of guys, a very motivated group of guys. Obviously, Tank's great as a manager. We had great resources in Adelaide. And I just felt I was 30 years old in Sydney, and I felt like I got maybe as far as I could there, and I was at a bit of a crossroads in my career. And I was like, how can I like milk the next few years? And I felt like Adelaide was a great place for me to come to.
Mate, you were able to win a couple of championships when you've been down in Adelaide, and obviously that's probably the peak of the ABL for you currently, being able to be on the mound to record the final out. You know, take us back to that. I mean, you've been able to win back-to-back championships there in Adelaide, mate. Pretty special, taking down the Heat last couple of years, and good celebrations, I hear.
Yeah, I mean, I've been lucky enough to be on the mound to close it out, and it was really strange. Like the ABL, I've said it many times, has been like my big leagues. So I've visualized in my mind plenty of times getting that final out. So it was pretty strange the first time I went out there to close it out in the first championship. It felt like I'd been in that moment 100 times before. So it just felt like a normal day to me. But as you saw in like the video, that when I got that final strike, it just all that 12 years of emotion just all came out at once. And yeah, it was pretty great. And the celebrations, for me, I'm not a big party guy. For me, it was tame, but watching the other guys celebrate and enjoy their time was really fun.
That surprises me a bit, Todd, because look, I don't want to break. I don't want to give out any spoilers to anyone that maybe doesn't know who TVS is. I think maybe they've been living under a rock, but you're a different cat, brother. Like, hey, you know, you rocking the Larry gloves. You got the sick high socks. You know, there's a lot going on here, and then to find out you're just a tame guy after the game. I mean, I what are we doing here? What's going on? You know?
I mean, like, you know, the baseball field's my comfortable place, so I feel like I can completely just let it all out there, and then once the parties start, I'm kind of sitting in the corner watching everyone going, "This is fun." I'm enjoying just sitting there watching.
That's fair enough. Hughesy would know this. I don't enjoy too many alcoholic beverages, and a lot of the boys there, Hughesy's rocking a sweet little Morley cap. Love that. A lot of the boys at Morley are sort of like, hang on, wait, what? Like, you know, it's cool. It's cool. I'll just chill, just have a good time.
I think I did enough partying for all three of us over the last couple of days. Been back in Perth for my dad's 70th birthday and catching up with all the Morley boys. I'm sitting here tonight, just a little bit worse for wear. But
We're back. We had some tech issues there. You'll see it in post-production. Hughesy asked the absolute question of his podcasting career. I loved it. I really want to go back to it. Hughesy, take it away, mate.
The question of my podcasting career was, over the years, you're able to, develop yourself and become, I guess, Todd Van Steensel. You do have, a lot of different antics, a lot of little things that you do, in between pitches, in between innings. Take us back to when, I guess, that all started for you, when you realised the type of pitcher you are, and how did you get the best out of yourself?
So this is 100% true story. It was probably, I'd say, the 2013-14 ABL season, maybe around then. I was warming up to go into a game for the Blue Sox, and Brad Thomas stands in front of me, looks at me, just dead in the eye, then slaps me across the face. Just big hard slap. And I was like, what was that for? I was like, are you angry? I was like, yeah, a little bit. I was like, all right, take it into the game. So I guess I have people that know me, I have a very kind of relaxed demeanor off the field, but that really wasn't getting the job done on the field. So I guess I created this alter ego for the angry version of Todd on the mound. And I guess that was kind of when my career found its second breath. And just over time, like the antics, the ball dropping, the routine, the takes me 30 seconds in between pitches. It's just become, people say it's like superstitious, but it's just become like a routine. I don't even think about it. Just get on the mound and my arms do this and this all happens and it just happens. It's like just muscle memory.
It's TVS, man. It's your style. Every pitcher, every good pitcher I know has it. You look at all the greats over the years. Mariano had his little thing going on. It's something that over the years, watching you develop as a pitcher, mate. And as you said, there were the second coming of Todd Van Steensel. You had a couple, obviously, stints in the States, mate. Very successful minor league career, and we've touched base privately through some messages over the years around, probably not getting the opportunity that you deserved in the States, mate. But, you had a really good career over there, mate. Obviously didn't get to the big leagues. I think very unlucky. How have you dealt with that over the years? And I guess you've been able to play all over and still playing the game, which is great. But, take us back to that time for you and the two stints that you had with the Twins.
So obviously I signed with the Phillies first. Spent a pretty bad year there, learning kind of what pro ball is all about. I wasn't mentally ready for it. I got a second chance to go to the Twins. I did really well in extended, but during the season I didn't do all that great, so I got released at the end of the year. The funny story about getting released that time was I woke up to a message while we were in Canberra, and it was a message from the EO of the Blue Sox. It said, "Hey mate, just read on Baseball America that you've been released. Is that true?" And I was like, "Wait, what?" And I was like, yeah, I don't know if you know, but it's public knowledge now. So I was like, I went to the older guys on the team and I said, what should I do? And they're like, call the scout. So I called the scout and I was like, hey, mate, someone just told me I've been released. Is that true? And I was like, yeah, mate, happened 2 weeks ago. You weren't told? And I was like, but it's not like I was told. I was like, yeah, sorry, good luck with your career. And then hung up the phone and that was it. That's how I found out I got released by the Twins. Then 2014 comes around. Twins come calling again. I was like, I'm going to jump at this, make the most of it. I'd say I had 5 pretty good years in the minor leagues. I knew pretty early on in that stint that I was kind of just a guy making up the numbers, and I kind of had to force their hand to move me up. And it took longer than I hoped, but I got to AA, pitched really well, made the AA All-Star game, and then a month later, I got released. So, I mean, I'd say I had a good career. It wasn't a great one. I got to do a lot of cool things. Won a few championships, played with a lot of big leaguers. But sometimes I try not to think about what could have been if I was at another organization doing the same thing. But doesn't take anything away from the career I've had after that, I think.
It's interesting. I just want to throw this bit in there because I didn't really know a lot about your minor league career, to be honest with you, right? And one of our good mates, small league pitcher, Brendan Singy told me, he said, mate, go back and have a look at his AA stats. They were nasty, like just filthy. So yeah, it's out there, man. Like, hey, TVS is nasty. We know this. Who
Mate, where's it been since then? The best place, besides Adelaide and stuff like that you've been able to pitch in a few other places, mate, and take us on that journey. Where have you gone and who have you played for?
So post affiliated career, I had a tiny stint with the Padres in 2019 in spring training, and that was the end of my affiliated career. And then after that, so 2019, St. Paul Saints in the American Association made an all-star team, won a championship. 2020, COVID happened. 2021, I went to play in Mexico, which was an absolute ball. I had the greatest time there. 2022 was supposed to go play indie ball again in the American Association, but my visa got denied. First time ever. So, I mean, I'm not going to stay at home and cry about it. So, went online, baseball jobs overseas, and 2 weeks later, I was on a plane to France to play. Won the French league with my team, the Huskies. 2023, played for Gastonia in the Atlantic League, and that's kind of when I realized I might be getting like to the end, and my body probably couldn't handle 12 months of baseball a year. So I spent 3 months there and decided it was time to leave and just start to focus on the ABL.
Mate, it's always interesting to see where guys go to and who they play and the connections and friendships. Mate, it sounds like you've won a ton of championships over the years, mate. Obviously winning with St. Paul would have been pretty cool as well. What's been your favourite championship moment? I guess could be anything for you personally.
Hard one.
You can't say getting the final out because we all know that's probably right at the top. But tell us another story or something that you've over the years, mate.
So 2014 was the first minor league championship in the Florida State League. We were playing the Daytona Cubs. And the funny part about that is about 7, 8 of those guys on that Daytona team went on to win the World Series 2 years later. But they didn't win the Florida State League championship. So we got that over them. I played with a bunch of big leaguers on my team. We had a pretty magical run throughout the season. Doug Minkiewicz was my manager, and he said something that has just always stood out to me after we won. We went 2 games up in the series. We lost game 3. And Minkiewicz just comes into the clubhouse and says, just because you deserve to win doesn't mean they'll let you win. That's all he had to say after that game 3 loss. And we were like, yeah, you're right. Like, we still have to earn this. We deserve to win, but we're still going to have to earn it. And that's just something I remind pretty much every team I'm on. Like, just because we deserve to win doesn't mean they're going to let us win.
Like that a lot.
And then, so 2017, the championship in AA, that was pretty crazy. We were the best team in AA all year. We went 90-49, I think.
Wow.
In AA. We played the Montgomery Biscuits, who we went 20-5 against in the regular season. So like, once again, we're not going to lose this. We're going to win. We get to game 5 of the championship. We're down 1-0 in the 9th. And I'm just thinking, there's no way we lose this. We're the best team all year. We smashed this team all year. So we get to the 9th. Lamont Wade, who now is with the Giants, it's a ground ball to shortstop, beats it out. And then our MVP comes up. His name was Jonathan Rodriguez. I think he had like 300 with 100 RBIs, 20-something home runs that year. First pitch he sees, 98, hits it 450 feet, flips the bat, raises hands. We lose our mind running out of the dugout. So that's how I won my second minor league championship. So like every championship I've won has been like great for a different reason. St. Paul, we were a good team. We got to the division series. We were down 0-2. Then came back to St. Paul, won the next 3 at home. Then went to the championship and swept the championship. And obviously the 2 Adelaide ones stand out pretty highly to me for very special reasons.
Yeah, it's got to be awesome. I mean, like, 2 in a row in Adelaide. Something special. I mean, I've said this before on this podcast. I'll say it again. Talking to Davo when we did, it was just like you could feel why you guys get around it, like a little bit of drink the Kool-Aid type stuff. Like it was just, I was pumped up. I think I finished it. I was like, man, I want to go take some BP or something. Like it's like 8 o'clock at night here. I was like, let's go. So, I mean, it must be pretty special there. And obviously, hey, look, things we'll probably get into. You're going to stick around for preview for the next round, of course, with us, which is going to be pretty cool. But we'll get into your season here at the moment. But right now, I mean, the Giants aren't sort of out there on top, but hey, you're still in it. You know what I mean? You're still there. The season's ain't over yet. We've got heaps of baseball to watch and for you to play. But it's got to be pretty special being a part of that. Like it seems like a really cool crew of dudes there in Adelaide that just want to get around each other, want to get around it, and just win. Like it's special, man. It just looks real special from the outside looking in.
Yeah, I mean, we have Tank leading from the front, and he really sets the tone with the group. He makes sure he lets the imports that come in know that as much as they are here to develop and get their work in, this league means a lot to a lot of people. And if you can't find a reason to play, play for these guys. And that's how we get the imports to buy into the culture we've built around the core of Australian guys we have. And it's just something we can keep building on every year. It's like we have stories to tell to the new guys, and we want them to be a part of what we've done in the past.
I always look at teams a little bit differently, I guess. I'll look at and watch how they interact within the dugout. I watch how the bullpens interact, how you win, how you lose. What's the team culture about? How much fun are you guys having? Do we have each other's backs with certain things happen? And a couple of years ago, I remember looking at you guys and watching the games and going, hold on a second, they're onto something here. You could see the team and how it had gelled that year. And this is the first one that you guys won. And, looking around the league, there's a couple teams that I see that with and a couple teams that I don't see that with. But when you see a team that has that in-depth love and desire to win baseball games together, watch out because it's scary. Like Sydney have it this year. You can see the difference that they have in their dugout. It's really quite noticeable. It's a couple teams I think are still trying to find their way. But Adelaide, of course, you've won back-to-back. That culture is built. The core group of players are there. The imports look like they're buying in, and it looks like you guys are having a ton of fun. So when you see that, you're like, nah, don't worry about it. The Giants will be fine, and they'll find their groove, and you guys will get rolling. And it's fun. You're a fun team to watch, and it's been a fun team to see develop, I guess, over probably the last 4 years, I would say. It just seems like a change, in attitudes and team morale and culture, mate. So, congratulations to you guys. And I know there's a few key probably figures amongst that group. You talk about Tank a lot. I know J-Mac has had a lot to do with that. Rickson obviously as well. Yourself, you've been able to bring in some really talented Aussie guys into that mix. So it's going to be a fun team to watch over the next 5 or 6 years as well.
They're a fun team. Sorry, Todd. I just want to say this, Hughesy. They're a fun team, but they're also like, they've got that dog in them too. Do you know what I mean? There's a bit of that too. Like, am I wrong, Todd? Like, I don't know. It feels like that when you're watching it, you're like, you got a bunch of dudes that are hot and just doing the fun stuff and having a bunch of fun. But also, like, hey, don't muck with it, man. Like, because they've still got a bit of fire. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, we do pride ourselves on having a bit of ticker. Funny you say dogs because Josh Tolles, the pitching coach, rates the pitching staff on a scale of 1 to 100 on the dog scale. So at the end of each week in the pitching report, he'll say we were 75% dogs this week, and we can't take that to heart. Like, we want to be 100% dogs. So it gives us a little motivation, it's a little bit of fun, and I mean, you got to find ways to have fun during the season, and we do a good job of that.
Hold on, where were you at on the dog scale over the weekend, mate? Is it individualised or is it just a team thing?
It's as a pitching staff, I think we're at 75% dogs.
Dogs.
Yeah,
I like that little bit of room for improvement. We're 4 rounds into it, 25% fine.
It's just something I've noticed because, like, obviously you guys have always like, man, I love it. I've sung the praises of the Giants for a while now, and I'll continue to do it until they stop, right? They do a lot of things really, really right. The media team's banging. You've got a core group of Aussie guys. You're always having, like, you're having a bunch of nights at the ballpark. There's always a bunch of really good things. The unis are dope. Like, there's that, right? And all of those things, but also they're dogs. Like, it's just that as well. Like, they got that bit of grit. Like, I just love that. Like, it's just awesome. So, anyways, I'll keep singing your praises as long as I can.
So for me, mate, like you represent Australia for a long time now. There is one key moment, and we have spoken about this in the past, but I do have to bring it up. And I think I know your answer to this, but if there was one moment in your Australian baseball career that you look back at the most, What moment would that be, Todd?
Oh man. If you asked me this before 2023, it would say obviously pitching at the SCG. I remember running out from center field where the bullpen was and just seeing the stands at the SCG. And I remember as I was coming in to slow down and take it all in, because I'm like, this might never happen again. I'm standing on the Sydney Cricket Ground about to face a big league baseball team. So yeah, that's really surreal. But you ask me now, I'd have to say striking out Shohei. That's really cool. That's going to be a fun story I can tell for the rest of my life.
I especially loved your Twitter breakdown of that.
I just watched that.
It's one of the all-time greatest things I've ever seen on Twitter, on X, sorry. And mate, like the breakdown, how did that come about? Did it just come naturally to you? Did it take many takes? Like how did that come about?
No, so I went into the MLB video room, screen record the video, just to have as my own personal video to look back at by myself. And then I was probably midnight. And I enjoy video editing. I was like, all right, I'm just going to make a little breakdown. If someone watches it, cool. If not, who cares? So I make this breakdown just talking about everything that was going through my mind as it happened. Posted on TikTok. And wake up and I've got 500,000 views. I'm like, what's going on? And then I think right now it's at 2.7 million on TikTok. And I have tens of thousands likes and retweets on X, Twitter X, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, people responded to it pretty well because, I mean, how often does any random person get to face Shohei? And obviously what goes through my mind isn't the same thing that goes through a big leaguer's mind. So yeah.
I literally watched this 20 minutes ago because Hughesy was saying, Todd's on X, right? And I was like, I should actually log into Twitter or X, whatever. And I just watched it, the AI breakdown of it. It was amazing. I loved it.
I think people complained about most was the voice. I'm like, I didn't think about it that much. I just used some random stupid voice and chucked it in.
I could have done the breakdown for you, mate. It was sick. Yeah.
If I could go further, obviously in that video I said try and keep your cool, Todd, because it took every muscle in my body not to go.
Yeah.
But we're down 7-0. I kind of composed myself and straight faced, and then I didn't really do anything until Liam Spence got the ball back at third, hands it to me and goes, "That was pretty cool." And I went, but I didn't have too much time to enjoy it because Murakami was batting next, so had to lock it in again real quick.
Do we delve into a universe where what happens if you throw the slider? Like, is it still a strikeout? Is it a swing and miss? Like, what are we doing here?
Visually in my head, he swings over it, ball in the dirt, Robbie picks it, throws it out one. That's how I visualize it in my head. But Robbie said fastball, and I threw it literally right down the middle, and he swung and missed. But I look back at the video sometimes, and I feel like I reverse tipped a pitch to him. So when I did through the changeup, I came up, I went down really deep, came up really slowly, came set, threw him a changeup. And then for that last pitch, I went down really slowly, came back up. So I'm thinking, when I watched the video, I'm like, he should hit that ball 500 feet. It wasn't a good pitch. But I think he might have thought a changeup was coming and just missed it.
Yeah. Hey, it's one of those things. Was it Will Sheriff that gave up a tank to Ohtani in the WBC? Yeah. So that in itself, man, I'd be stoked if I was just there, just to see Ohtani hit, let alone give up a home run, but let alone strike him out. Do you know what I mean?
If you want to talk about aura, Shohei is just aura personified. So we finished batting practice. Hughesy, guys go on the clubhouse, sit on their phones, chat, eat. BP was over for us. We went into the clubhouse, and pretty much 70% of the team went back into the dugout, thinking, Shohei going to hit. Little did we know, he doesn't really hit on the field. He was out beyond center field fence taking BP in the cages. So I'm sitting in the dugout where is this guy? And then you see 40 minutes later, center field fence opens up, Shohei walks out, and I'm like, there he is. So I get my phone out, I'm zooming in, there he is, there's Shohei. Little did I know, 2 hours later, I'll be pitching against him.
Yeah. That's the cool thing about the WBC. You come up against these guys, and for us as Australians, we might get a little sniff here or there. We might play a little pro ball, but we get the opportunity to come up against the world's best, and our best against their best at the given time is still good, right? And it shows when you have an opportunity to come up and face the world's best. You can have success, mate, and you had success, and I congratulate you for that, mate. It's a cool moment, and a moment that you always forever live and can go back to, right? And to share with your kids and share with your friends and family. It's pretty special. The last, obviously, Prem 12, mate, you're over there with the boys. Probably didn't go to the plan of what you guys kind of were hoping for while you were over there. But, how was, Japan, and how was Taiwan? How was your time over there?
I'd say it was pretty frustrating, to be honest. Like, we didn't perform as well as we hoped we would. On the back of WBC, we expect like a whole lot more from ourselves. So I think as a collective, it was pretty disappointing. There weren't too many like bright sparks in the entire thing. If you ask anyone else, they would say the same thing. It's
you just bank it, move on, go to the next tournament prep, and go again.
Yeah, pretty much. We're not going to think about it too much or dwell on it. Look at what we did wrong, try and fix it, take the positives out of it, whatever we could, and just move forward. WBC's in 15 months, so.
Mate, what do you got left in the tank, mate? You kind of mentioned it. You've now pitching the ABL, and that's your main place to play. Like, you look at it and go, do you have a goal? Obviously WBC said 15 months away. Olympics 2028, Olympics 2032. Do you put a ceiling on it? Do you have any expectations of yourself or any drive to get to a specific event?
A few years ago, I said if I get to the 2023 WBC, anything after that is a bonus. But I just honestly, I keep surprising myself with how hard I'm still throwing and at the level I can keep performing at. So as long as I feel like I can contribute to the team and I could be an asset, I'll always put my name up for it. But if there comes a time where that performance drops, I'm not going to linger around and feel like I own that spot. You got to hand it off to the next guy.
Definitely, mate. And so, from now, I guess, we go back into the ABL season for you. You guys had a pretty good weekend there against Brisbane, going 3-1 against them. A couple of close games as well. You've been able to get up by, I think, a run in a couple of those as well, mate. Good weekend for the boys. You're right there, as Sexy said, right, and the pack, it's really close. I think Sydney are 11-4, and they're only team a couple of games ahead. But for you guys, where's Adelaide at the moment?
I'd say we're in a good spot, but we're not where we want to be, obviously. We're winning games and we're not playing, I would say, great baseball. So fingers crossed things start to come together in the next few weeks. We can get hot at the right time and do something special again. We got a really talented group of guys. It just hasn't clicked quite yet, I think, on the field. Some guys are scuffling, but we know we have the talent. We got the right attitudes, and it'll come together.
You're right. I think it is that, and it's like that for a few clubs too, which is kind of awesome for a fan, and also scary when you're trying to pretend like trying to pick who's going to win. Because man, someone gets hot right now, or like a bunch of teams get hot right now. Oh, you're going to have to watch every single game because it's just going to be wild. We're not really sure what's going to happen. Hey, I want to hit you with a few questions. Obviously, I see your jumper there, bro. I see what you got there, and it's quite well known that you're a massive Swiftie. We're going to dive into some previews and reviews and all of that of the last round, but I do have some questions here for you. I want to kind of test your Taylor Swift knowledge. Hughesy's going to love this. Hughesy's going to love this. He's here for it. And Hughesy, you're also welcome to answer any of these questions if you know them. We'll start off with an easy one. I'm just going to go through someone's here.
Okay.
All right, let's just do it this way. What is Taylor Swift's middle name?
Allison.
Allison?
That's an easy one.
I'm gonna keep note of how many he gets right. Okay.
Allison's correct. How old was Taylor Swift when she wrote "Monster in My Closet"?
Oh, I want to say
the answers. Oh, sorry, I should give you multiple choice. A 28, B 10, C 9, or D 12.
It's definitely before her self-titled album came up, so it'll be before 16.
Okay.
I'm going to say 12. you say 12? Was that an option?
It was 10. She was 10.
Yeah.
That's okay. This still doesn't mean you don't love her, man. It's cool. Taylor Swift has 2 pets, 2 pet cats, and one of them has a name beginning with M. But what's the cat's name?
Meredith Grey.
He's done it. Here's the other. I'm going to finish this.
She has 3 cats. It's Meredith Grey, Olivia Benson, and Benjamin Button.
Okay, there you go. All right,
that's an extra point. That's
no extra points.
No extra. 100%. That's an extra point.
All right, we'll finish on this one. Because I could feel Hughesy text me after he goes, we asked too many Taylor Swift questions.
Nah, I've got one. I've got a question.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. This one might get you, Hughesy. I don't know. You might blow up about this, and low key, that's another fun part of the podcast for me. Where Hughesy blows up about things. According to Billboard, what is the net worth of Taylor Swift's cat Olivia?
Oh, according to Billboard.
According to Billboard, what is the net worth of Taylor Swift's cat, Olivia?
It's got to be in the millions. She's been in a few photo shoots.
Is it A, it's a cat, the cat has $0 net worth? Is it B, well, because it's Tay, the cat's worth $10 million? C, wild guess, $66 million? Or D, even wilder guess, $97 million?
I'm just going to lock in B. That one makes the most sense.
B, $10 million. Hughesy, do you want to play on this one?
Nope.
Okay, it's D, $97 million.
That's ridiculous.
It's crazy.
Well, she's done some photo shoots. She's worth something.
That's ridiculous.
There you go. So look, there's a few more here, but I think we could firmly agree that Todd's a massive Swiftie.
Yeah, but I want to ask him what has been your best Taylor Swift moment, or over the years of following Taylor and being a Swiftie.
So I actually got to meet her in 2013, I think. Yeah, she was.
I thought it was later than that. I thought it was like only a few years ago you got to meet her or something.
No, it was 2013. It was the Red Tour, and her mum would walk around during the concert, hand out tickets to Club Red, which was like a little private after party to meet Taylor. And my friend was with me, and she spots Taylor's mum at the distance. I was like, "Is that her?" And for some reason, we just ran over there. It was the last song of the night. And then her mom gives me a hug. And then my friend shouts out, "He's Taylor Swift's biggest fan." And then her mom says, "Do you want to come to Club Red?" So everyone's screaming, shouting. She puts a wristband on my wrist and says, "You got to come meet us in this section after the show." So show ends, meet her in this section. We get marched off into this tent. And mind you, I was the only guy in this group of 25 people. So I stood out like a sore thumb. And then after a couple of minutes, Taylor walks in. Everyone's kind of in shock, like she's actually in the room. Then she spent about 10 minutes with each group, and she gets to me and my friend, and I was with the girl. So obviously Taylor thinks I was dragged along with her. So Taylor starts talking to my friend, and she goes, "I actually came here with him." And then Taylor starts talking to me, and I guess you could see that I was nervous, and she was really good at making conversation. And I told her, "At the last concert, you walked to the B stage and you touched my hand. So I like to tell people that's when we first met." And I said, "I wasn't supposed to be at that concert because I played professional baseball, but then I got released. I was probably talking a lot faster than that." And she was like, "Oh, I used to sing the anthem at Reading Phillies games." "Yeah, I know. One time my teammate said he gave you his jacket when you were cold one day when you were near the dugout." And she asked me, "Do you ever get nervous pitching in front of all those people?" And I was like, "I'm more nervous now than I've ever been in my entire life." And she was like, "Oh my God, you're so perfect." And then I fell to the ground, hands and heads. And another cool part about that is the rules inside Club Red. No selfies. Don't ask her to make a Vine, because this was 2013.
Right.
Don't ask her to phone a friend. You get one autograph and one group photo. So me and my friend, we take the group photo. And then Taylor grabbed my phone and asked me, "Do you want to take a selfie?" So Taylor holds up my iPhone 5, pops the selfie, and she asked me if I wanted a hug, gave her a hug, and then out the door she went.
That's fantastic.
The funniest part is, TVS, how tall are you? Just out of curiosity.
6'2".
Yeah, so 6'2", the only dude, but also this just huge dude. It's just...
I didn't have the beard then, so I was more baby-faced.
Okay, but still, I'm just thinking you're I stand out like a sore thumb. I'm thinking, yeah, man, you're a pro pitcher. That's way too tall to be in there.
It was a huge 12 months, it sounds like, back then, mate.
Oh,
you got slapped in the face by Brad Thomas. You got to meet Swifty and get a selfie, mate. There's a lot happening in your life back then.
Lot going on in that year. That met Taylor, sign of the Twins, pitch at the SEG, won a minor league championship. So, that was a good 12 months.
Maybe Tay is like when the TBS aura was born. Do you know what I mean? Like maybe this is that. Was it pre that, or were we already in TBS phase?
Time, around that time.
Okay.
We just put it all together. Look at that.
I love that. I think you've unlocked it. Yeah. It wasn't really the slap in the face. That was more just him just getting one out on you, just bang, In
the Swifty world, we call that Tay Voodoo. Whenever she touches, kind of turns to gold, like the Kansas City Chiefs.
There we go.
Somehow they have all the luck now.
Which did she just did she touch your whole hand, or just 2 fingers, or like 3 fingers? Because maybe you'll have room for another ring this year. I don't know. Hughesy hates me bringing that up.
My right hand, like my left hand, and she touched with her right.
Okay,
I got that on video too.
Okay.
You got plenty of rings to come.
Yeah, he's got plenty of championships to win. Well, look, let's move into a little round recap. And Todd, do you want to stick around? It'd be sick. We can go through the weekend that was. Usually we do this on our own, but I thought let's do it with TBS. It's going to be fun. Let's get into it. Hughesy had a bit of a shocker of a round on the picks, everyone, just so we're all aware.
Oh, don't worry. I've got a message from a certain player that kind of rubbed it in my face a little bit. And I was like, good to see you boys showed up this week.
Yeah. Any hints as to who that was? Or will you just tell me?
I'll keep that one quiet.
Okay, no, that's fair enough. Let's go back here. I was one ahead of myself here. Let's start with the Sydney-Canberra round, the Sydney-Canberra series. First game there, Thursday night. Sydney got up against the Cavs. Barassa got another win. Jack Mahoney, the guy that Hughesy likes to call Jack Mahoney. Went down. Another tight one there. That was going to be a bit of a banger of a series for me. And it turned out to play pretty well.
What were our picks there?
I could pull it up for you. It's on the Instagram, but at Blue Blast Podcast, if you're not already.
Yeah, jump in.
But I'm pretty sure.
Did I go sweep?
You would have.
Yeah, I did.
You love a sweep. Yeah, I went 3-1 Sydney. Hughesy went 4-0 Sydney. And your boy here was right. I got a point for that. So we played nearest the pin, Todd. So, I mean, it's a Hughesy rule because he was sick of not getting points. Yeah. So but anyways, I got a point there. So I was right. No points for Hughesy. But did you see much of the Cal? You wouldn't have seen much baseball over the weekend, right, Hughesy?
I try to tune in as much as I can when I'm not playing, and I mean, all I can say is. It was a round of Robbie Perkins. He kind of put his hand on his back and did everything.
Yeah,
Robbie round.
So Luke Wilkins is in Amsterdam now. I got a message from him. I got a message from him. It was like, dude, is Robbie the front runner for the Helms? Looked up his numbers and he hit another home run, hit 2 home runs that weekend, and just kind of did everything. So. Yeah, man. Robbie's leading that Canberra team.
He's leading the league in average. He's second in home runs. There's a bunch of guys on 5. Dizzler, the Rizzler, he's on 6, right? But that's all right. Much love. OPS, RBIs. The dude, he's doing it all.
Mate, I think he was a little bit stiff not to get player of the month when they announced it last week. And I was like, hold on a second. True. I went back and looked at Robbie's stats, and I know we just spoke to him. I was like, no, his stats are great. And he just doubled down over the weekend, and it's great to see him, leading the way there for Canberra. And, it seemed like I know Sydney are hot, man. They're just a good team at the moment, and they have changed a lot of different things. And they've got some really good players in, and the Aussie guys like Harry Fullerton was one of my guys. I'll go back and say when we spoke early, one of our first podcasts, who was a couple of the guys. He was one. Solo's another guy that we need, to see that team, to take over that Aussie connection. So it's good to see Harry swing the bat really well there too.
Yep.
I think with Sydney, all those new kids they have they don't know anything about the history of Sydney. I was in Sydney for a long time. We were kind of just the losers, I think. We got so close many times, never got to the championship, and our bad years were really bad. So these kids that are coming in don't know anything about that. They're playing as a fresh group of kids, and it's fun to see. Just hope they don't play well against us.
Yeah, and you've got a guy like Brooke Knight leading the charge who has had great success coaching guys of that sort of age group as well, and older guys as well. But you know what I mean? Like, hello, like it's looking pretty nasty. So game one, obviously, Sydney got up 7-5. It was Robbie round. I did a breakdown about it that I'm now calling something else because it's copyright infringement on John Boy.
You're right.
The Cavs got up in game two, 5-1. Colton Davis gets the win there for Canberra Cavalry. That was interesting. We're going to move through a bit quick. Alex Wells goes out, moves his record to 2-1 this year, 3-2. Sydney Blue Sox gets up again. And then on the Sunday, the Blue Sox come home strong for your boy here and give me a point on the 3-1. They win that game 5-2. Like I said, look, lots to go through as far as that round. But, Sydney's hot.
One of the guys, and, TVS, you know him well, Liam Doolan, seeing the success he's had early in the season this year. I know he's been trying to find his way a little bit, but, seeing him go out there and pitch well through a couple innings that last game. The cool thing about that game is you rolled Matty Ray into Liam Doolan to Colin Wynn into Josh Geyer. All local guys, which is, cool to look at and see. And, they got the win. And, it's good to see that as a club, especially when you got some Aussie guys you roll out there on Sunday and get the job done.
Big shout out to my guy, our Lismore guy.
Again. Here we go. This is just
I love this guy, man. He's my guy. I played club ball with this guy. He's my guy. He had a good first inning. Went through the highlight order there, but got into a bit of trouble in the second inning. But he'll be right. He's fine. He's tough. Let's move on to the next one. Aces versus Perth Heat. Now, no one saw this weekend happening. It was a wild weekend. I did think that Melbourne were going to come out and be pretty tough, right? But I didn't think they would be just absolutely this tough. It was crazy. They sweep the Perth Heat. Sorry, what? No one saw that. I don't know. Am I the only one?
They would have.
Aces would say that. Yeah, sure.
But the one thing I'll look at that is, and we've been waiting, I've said from the start when we first jumped on the pod, the Aces are the team for me that, Aces close second, you guys, and then the Heat were going to be the top three. I had to see a little bit more from Canberra, I had to see a little bit more from Sydney. And for me, that was their weekend. They go out there, sweep the Heat, swung the bats extremely well. A lot of high scores in those games, and it was interesting to see the success over the 4 days. But I know they'll be up and about a little bit, and I don't know if the wind was blowing out or something like that. But the ballpark played a little bit smaller than what it usually does, so plenty of runs scored in that weekend.
Yeah, look, you're right, Hughesy. Obviously, the Aces are the team to watch, and they have been all year, and you've been touting them. But, I mean, come on, the way that they come out and just absolutely tromped the Perth Heat. I don't even know if that's a word. TVS, what are your thoughts? I mean, they had to turn it around eventually, right?
I mean, every time you open up Twitter or Instagram, there's a new highlight from a different player and the Aces doing something crazy. So everyone's getting hot. Everyone's contributing. They built this really good team on paper, and they're getting the results on the field now. So let's hope they just have a bad weekend this weekend.
Yeah, well, that's you guys are playing.
We'll get into that.
Weekend. There's a lot of weapons 1 through 9. I think Berkey was hitting, maybe 8 or 9, and he popped a couple out over the weekend. And when you got a goal like that, hitting the spot like that, your lineup's really deep. They've got a lot of Australian talent. It's great to see. I think they've got roll out 6 Aussies in their offensive lineup, which is pretty cool to see. And there's probably still 1 or 2 of those more to potentially add to that too. Jared Belbin's another guy that's getting an opportunity to get some at bats as well, which is great. Robbie had a great series. Aaron Whitefield's had a great year. He's probably arguably, right around the mark of another Helms Award. He's already won 2, right? So coming into that's a pretty potent offensive line. How do you attack it, mate? Obviously you've got your strengths, but
don't give away all the secrets.
No, you don't have to.
These guys have faced me so much that they know how I'm going to attack them. I just believe that my stuff is better than them. That's literally it.
Yeah, right.
Robbie knows that he's probably going to get a slider with 2 strikes, and I'm probably going to throw it. he just has to try and hit it, and I got to try and strike him out. That's just the way it is. I'm going with my strength. I'm not going to, back down from what I know what to do. So I'm just going to go after him. And like they've seen me so many times, they know what's up. So
yeah. Did you guys see the Dizzler catch? Did you guys see the Dizzler catch?
Yeah. Oh my God. I did.
I saw it and I was like, what else did he do this weekend? I just want to do another breakdown of this guy. I love this guy. He just looks like the funnest human being to be around. He just, yeah. Anyways, I know. I just keep banging the same drums. But
mate, you're allowed to have your favourite players, mate.
He's awesome. He's awesome. He looks just the funnest.
Is TVS above Dizzler or
TVS and Dizzler? Like a TVS Dizzler like collab would be fun. We might have lost TVS.
You know what we're gonna have? We're gonna have a breakdown. The Dizzler, the Rizzler v TVS coming.
Yeah. That makes me happy. I'll make that makes me really happy. God damn, we've lost TVS again. Are we gonna have to keep rolling? I apologize, TVS. We've had to our listeners, if you listen to this, we've had a bunch of tech difficulties. We can't continue on right now. We're gonna have to finish it up, unfortunately. But huge thanks to TVS for jumping on this.
And what a great photo to finish it. Hopefully everyone can see this photo.
Right this is I hope this comes out in post. Just TVS stuck there, just happily. I think he'll be happy with that. I feel like he's the kind of guy to love that.
Yeah, great way to finish
let's wrap it up, Hughesy. Let's go. So obviously Melbourne Aces come through and just sweep the Perth Heat. I'm just going to run through the scores real quick. 10-2 in the first game. Second game, 11-8. And then going down here, 10-8 and then 6-2. So, runs were getting scored aplenty, more so in the Aces' favour, and they come away with a sweep. No points awarded either side to us, which is fair enough. Let's move on to the next series, which would have been good to have our mate here, but we digress. Obviously, the Adelaide Giants and the Brisbane Bandits. Adelaide flew all the way up to Brisbane. Adelaide gets a little 3-1, which is another point to your boy here. That's cool. But yeah, Brisbane get away with a little win there on the Sunday, a little 3-0 victory. But again, just not quite enough. I mean, it's always going to be hard when you're playing the Giants. We know this, right? And hopefully the Giants are going to turn it on again this weekend, coming into to round 5. We start talking about them playing the Melbourne Aces at home. So, do you want to go into round 5, Hughesy, or do you want to dive in?
No, go for it.
Let's dive into round 5. Todd's gone. He's gone. He's out of here now. Yeah. Obviously, as we discussed, Melbourne Aces are going down to Adelaide. Who you got? What are you thinking? It's another one of those rounds.
This is where, I did get, as I said, a little message from a player from Melbourne Aces around good picks this weekend. And look, it's great. I like when you throw something out there and you get a little bit of banter back. And, I replied with, about time. We've been waiting for it. And they did play well. The one thing that concerns me a little bit is still they're giving up a few runs. Okay. So one thing that, you've got to be mindful of. The scores were quite high. They found a way to win baseball games, which is good. The offensive lineup, as we discussed, is very potent at 1 through 9. We didn't even talk about Greg Bird, or anything like that. So, yeah, they've definitely got, that offensive power. I think, pitching-wise, they're still trying to find a few pieces there. I'm going to go this weekend with a push this weekend. I'm going to go
2-2 split.
Yeah.
Okay. Split. You're writing it down. Good. That's actually better because then I don't have to try.
Yeah.
2-2 split. Yeah, it's a hard one. I'm gonna swing against all good nature. I'm probably gonna say 3-1 Giants.
Okay.
Also, by the way, I'm leading 3-2 in points. I went back and counted up just so you know.
Yeah.
And we're going to work out a punishment for the winner. So the winner will have to impart a punishment upon the loser, just so you know, at the end of the season. And the winner can decide what that is. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. And that's good. So Hughesy says 2-2 split. I say 3-1 to the Giants. Brisbane are going down to Sydney. What are you thinking? You going to do it 2 weeks in a row? Are you going to do it?
I do say it's really hard to get a sweep very hard. And I did a couple last weekend. Yeah, I'm just going to go 3-1 Sydney.
Ooh, 3-1.
Yeah.
It's hard because the Sydney pitching staff is just so good. You know what I mean? And they're playing good baseball on both sides of the ball. I can't pick the same as you, can I? Because that's a bit boring.
You can. You can. 100%.
It's a bit lame.
You can if you want.
I think it's going to be... Nah, I'm playing for points. I'll do it. Sydney goes 4-0. There you go. Sweet. Sorry, okay. Brisbane. I love you. I got mates playing for you, but I've also got to beat Hughesy here, guys. Come on. I want to get this punishment. Canberra comes to Perth. Your boy here. Just all I'm saying is watch the stream on streamer.com.au on Friday night. That's all I'm going to say.
That's fantastic to hear.
Your boy here might be on the stream talking with your boy Morgs, but also might not. So it could fall over. So if you don't see me, I didn't say anything on this podcast. Who you got? Canberra, Perth? I'm going to go first. I'm going to say 3-1 Perth Heat. I think Canberra's really good and are playing really, really well. But I think Perth coming home after that, I'd like to think in my heart of hearts, the Perth Heat are going to just come out and put the foot down. So 3-1 Perth Heat against the Canberra Cavalry.
Okay. So who'd you say? Perth Heat 3-1?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of runs scored last week. I'm going to go split.
Yeah, split seems like good money too, like, to be honest, because Canberra ain't no slobs, that's for sure.
No.
That'll be exciting to watch. I'm pretty pumped. It's round 5. We're starting to get into the nitty-gritty of it all.
Yeah, need to see some new things from some teams. Got to see some teams pick it up a little bit. Right in the heart of the season now, leading into Christmas, a couple of big weekends before Chrissy. So yeah, it should be a cracking weekend of baseball again. I unfortunately didn't watch too much over the last weekend for the first round. Yeah, I was quite busy through being back in Perth. So I had my dad's 70th birthday. Happy birthday to him on the pod. Not that he's ever going to listen to the pod. Mum might. Dad won't. Doesn't even know what a podcast is, but that's all right.
Yeah. Well, actually, while we're on that... sorry, you keep on. Sorry.
Special shout out to the Morley Eagles boys. I did come down on Sunday afternoon and had a couple of beers with the boys watching Morley play, and they did come back and score 3 in the 9th and walked off against Swan District. So it was good to see them, see them celebrate. Big chappy, good mate, finally got a hit, squeaked one through for the walk-off. So got to give him a special shout out. Love a little bit of club ball chat. Love club ball. Lost tonight, Essendon. We played Newport's, lost tonight, which is bit of a not a good game for Essendon tonight. That's all right. We regroup and go again on Saturday. Yeah.
Your boy here might have, I think it's like at least a 3-game hit streak in Resi. So you're welcome, mate. That's right.
Fantastic.
Just, throwing it out there. You just don't seem impressed, but that's cool.
No, no worries. I am. What I am interested, and I'll throw it out there for the listeners that are listening, and we'll wrap this up real quick. But hey, if you've got any information about local baseball around Australia, don't be afraid. Send us a message. Say something to us. Message me, message Sexy, whatever it is. Let us know. We'll give you a shout out. Whatever you got going on. We love club baseball. We are club baseball people. It's been, the heart and soul of Australia and Australian baseball is the clubs. And, we all love it. So love getting around it. So let us know if you got anything.
It's a good point. I think we could do like a little shout out, like when they come through, hit us up on @Blue Blast Podcast, whether that's on Facebook or on Instagram. Send us a message. Like a little club ball hero shout out at the end of every episode. So like tell us a little story about something that happened over the weekend or something like that. I think it'd be a lot of fun. That'd be pretty cool. And obviously, like you said, it's close to all of our hearts and stuff like that. So it is what it is. That'd be sick. So yeah, shoot us a message, man. We'd love to tell stories about that, right? Like it's baseball. That's what we're here for. Also, a shame that he's not here right now. And I do feel bad, but we'd had a few cracks at it with the internet and a few issues. But huge thanks to TBS, Todd Van Steensel for jumping on with us tonight. Low key was pretty pumped to talk to TBS. I mean, what a character, what a guy, and he comes on and has a chat with us, which is great. So really, really appreciate him. And hey, checking him out because he's going to be out there this weekend against the Melbourne Aces. So
enjoy chopping this episode up, mate, and pulling it all together.
I'm going to have a lot of work. Yeah. So that'd be cool. So let's wrap it up because it's already gone too long. We appreciate you guys for listening so much. Thank you so much. And if you haven't already, like I've mentioned several times, hit us up on @Blue Blast Podcast, whether that is on the Instagram machine, the Facebook machine, on the YouTube. Look us up. Give us a little review if you listen on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts. We appreciate you. His name's Hughesy. He's the Blast. My name's Big Sexy. I'm the Bloop. It's the Blast and the Bloop. That's the podcast name, right? No, that's not it. Doesn't matter. We appreciate you. Take care. Enjoy round 5.
Going back. This ball's back.